And we're back for the first week this year only on Let's Be Real. And no, I am not CEO, a younger version. No, I am indeed Simon Says. And we're now back, guys. Look at us. Happy New Year to some extent.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you in the month of love. So cheers to that, by the way.
Cheers.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. And this week on Let's Be Real, we've had a very interesting couple of events that have happened, and even when we were away. And one of the main events that even we have seen is a lot of ladies went to the streets to actually protest because there's been a lot of femicide that's been going on. Because one thing we actually should note out there is that 1 in every 4 women do experience violence within even relationships, in the context of domestic violence, and that happens a lot. So these ladies went out there in the streets and they said, you know what, enough is enough. And they heard their voices were out there shouting because they must be heard. And that was a serious issue that happened. So in case, see me as a guy here, I should ask the ladies on the panel, how did you feel when you heard all these stories going around, even on the Airbnb, all these ladies constantly being mauled? Even the young one, she was in campus, she was mauled. Even the detective said, I have never seen a body like mauled like this. The head was over here, the arms over there. When you heard this, what did you hear? What did you feel? Your first innate feeling?
So first of all, condolences, sincere condolences to the families that their loved ones have gone through this directly. Our hearts really and our minds are with you. But for me, honestly, Simon, when I saw this, I'm just like, now the society has gotten more emboldened. I know these ladies, the reason why we actually got to hear about them is because they are in Nairobi City. And they are like, it was the influencer. It was the influencer girl, the Wahoo, the starlet Wahoo, who actually really brought this thing. And it was so shocking, the fact that given her background, given that she's an influencer, given the kind of life she was living, that we really got to know. Otherwise, she would have just gone. And so what I want to say is this. Violence against women, especially violence that is leading to death, that is justified. And when you saw the social media around it, it was sort of like she was being blamed. Yeah? Now, what came to mind myself is that there are very many helpless women in Kenya today, especially widows. Widows, maybe people just want to take their property away. They are like in areas like Kisii, they are called witches, and they are stoned to death. Okay, women who, and that's even a bigger problem. You know, when you look at the statistics, every month we are losing over almost 8 women per month out of just being burned to death.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean, because even that happens a lot. Even now, here's the pushback, and I want to hear your perspective on this. And because when it comes to now femicide being a serious issue, before you say anything, you know, CEO, I told you I'm a younger version of CEO. He's gonna come real soon. Just so you know.
Join us.
He's gonna come real soon. So just check. He's gonna come real soon. Don't you worry. We'll get him right back. We'll get him right here on set, okay? Don't you worry. You know, he took his precious time. But he's gonna come on set.
It's all right. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy late New Year for you. I was replacing you.
Thank you, Dr. C and Maria. Man.
So, CEO, before you came, actually, I gave my thoughts about this issue. I was talking about the reason why this femicide has come to the fore is because a celebrity or what do you call that?
Even
social
influencer.
An influencer actually got caught in. But every day, every month, we are losing, like in the villages, in Muranga, in Kisii, women being called witches, and being stoned to death, like literally being stoned to death, just because they look in a certain kind of way and all that, you know. So I think people have just gotten emboldened, like we can do this, and they only.
What do you think?
I think we should take care of our women, number one. We should respect and really, really find, and this problem with an African woman, we cannot bring them this close and then start killing them in 2022, 2023. The African woman of the old has really suffered. If you read many books, one of them is Mariam Abbas' Nervous Condition. It talks about women in Africa and the condition they've lived in. You need to take care of your kids, you need to go to fetch firewood, educate your kids, and still look for money and still feed your husband. These women have really suffered. If you read Ngugi wa Thiong'o's latest book, Morogiwa Kagogo, in Kikuyu, or The Wizard of the Crow.
Yes.
Morogiwa Kagogo.
Yes, yeah.
Or The Wizard of the Crow. There's a part where Nyawira talks about women in Africa and also women in India. If you read the Puranas. So women have really suffered for a very long time. My only caution has always been, I do not like the word femicide.
Explain why.
Because the word femicide definition is killing a woman for a woman's sake.
Because they are women.
Because they are women. Femicide in English is actually killing a woman because she's a woman. So we cannot reduce it to that. We must look at it in a way where we empower women, but say that women have a right to leadership, women have a right to education, women have a right to disagree.
Yes.
With each other.
With each other and with their husband and with men. But we must also give them a platform to thrive.
Maria, go first, because I have a different perspective. Go ahead. I want to hear your perspective on
Okay,
this.
my perspective first is, let's not sugarcoat things. As a woman walking in the streets freely without having caution, like I am walking in the streets, I am carrying my bag, I am so safe, it's at night, nobody will harm me. It doesn't happen so often. Like wherever you live, you still feel like you are a bit unsafe. Now, with this issue of women being killed now, it has increased to a level whereby now we even feel more unsafe than initially we were. And the fact that a celebrity, like when Wahu died, that is when the issue came up, and you realize that there are so many stories that were not talked about until she died. I feel like those are the reasons why I always say that influencers should be talking, at least hinting more on the issues in the society so that it can be corrected earlier. We, as women, there are so many things that happen in our lives that we go through. Like, let's face it, we are the ones to worry about our kids more. We are the ones to worry about what to do next, how to, like, we are more like we need to protect our families as much as we can, in as much as that we have providers and protectors at home. But now, there are people who are blaming us for what we wear cost it, what we do cost it, where we were, like the situation is too much. Now we're even scared of, you can't meet anyone online, you can't text anyone and chat, and then you're going to, like, the relationship of social media that you hear here out here that have led to marriages that have long lasted, it's now becoming something scary. It's bringing the society to a point whereby, as women now, you have to be extra cautious and trust that you will get home safe.
Before I get what you mean. Now here's the thing. Let me even dwindle it down to, like, because this issue became an issue about Airbnbs all of a sudden.
Yes.
Then it became a moral issue. Or then guys were even saying, guys out there even would say that why were they engaging in such immoral acts, whatever they were seeking immorality. It became more or less a moral discussion.
Yes, sure.
But now here's the thing. I like even breaking it down. After these protests, who has suffered? Because a killer will kill despite of the context. Killing, even being a murderer, is by law, it's already there ingrained. A killer will kill despite of context. And because of the context of Airbnbs as that come into place, what happens? People who own Airbnbs have done what? Have not been given any more litigation. There's even now stipulations, even so many stipulations have come into play, that even people have to pay another extra 20,000 to who? The government, who you do not trust. And now here's the thing, extra come into play. And guess who runs a majority of all these Airbnbs? It's a lot majority owned by women. And a lot of the Airbnb businesses are mostly run by women. So even I like breaking it down is who has actually suffered because of the protest, killers are gonna suffer either way, irregardless. Because even another context, even like putting it that, don't tell a killer, don't kill. You will already suffer. Whether you kill CEO, whether you kill you're gonna suffer because the law is the law and it's already laid there for a fact. My job is not to instill the whatever. Even if I have a daughter, my job is to say this. Please, my daughter, whatever it is that you actually engage in, build emotional intelligence to know which context are you putting yourself in. Be it even that friend. Forget even the context of engaging. For even, I'll not even judge about it more. My dear, flourish in your morality. I even encourage you, flourish in immorality if it feeds you. Alright? But be intelligent in who you can manipulate to their immoral activities. I have no judgment on that. I encourage that on that aspect of things. Even when it gives him power to the wrong people, even when you castigate the wrong person, sometimes the outcome can actually punish the people actually even whatever. Because I like looking at who is actually being punished.
So Simon,
yeah.
You would have made a really good pastor. I like the way you did it.
No, I'm serious. Who is actually?
No, but you know, that said, I need to get in there. I think one of the biggest things that has come out with this femicide, the protest, I wouldn't say that these people are suffering. I think we've realized the loopholes that were already there as far as safety is concerned. Yeah, we were trusting too much, and I'm happy that legislation has been put in and that now this industry is being formalized and people are being held accountable. Second, I think so that it was important that we have this protest and we have this noise, so to bring to the fore the fact that girls, please be careful. Don't go to people's houses and apartments and whatever when there is not. But on the other hand, it has also brought to the fore that we need to relook at statistics in terms of what are the ways in which the thing is, women have always been marginalized in a certain way. Yeah. What are because like what I talked about, the femicide that was already existing, especially with the elderly women, when people just want to take away what they own, and because they are in the village, no one is talking about it. I looked at the women, the UN women, talking about these women who are just being labeled witches, and no one is doing anything. Even FIDA and Helpage Kenya released a press release. No one talked about it. I think it just disappeared. So I think this is the time when we can bring these kind of things to the fore.
I get you.
Yeah.
The protests are important.
I get you.
Yeah. So as we think of that and as we try to know what the ways we can do that, but speaking more of it will help a lot. Let's go to the next story. It has been gazetted actually that private security guards will now be allowed to arrest. They can use sirens and carry around and go around with flashlights, come with emergency equipment for security and all that, including guns, and then hand them over to the police. Now, okay, stop. Yeah, now hand them over to the police. What's your take? You've laughed fast. What's your take on that?
No, I'm just like, there's Carrie who you tip every now and then. There's Carrie who.
So your problem is tipping them.
No. Listen. I'm trying to give you the perspective. You tip every now and then. Who you meet at the door. Now all of a sudden we try to that's giving power, which I think is unnecessary. I think a bit too much. Then you're gonna have a little bit more guns out here, haphazardly. Yeah. And then now we already know what's happening in the States when it comes guns become haphazardly released out of the public, it becomes haphazardly used. And of course, when it comes to the aspect of even security guards having more weapons, guns may not be the solution. It can be now, what are you securing first of all? You know, I understand you're securing to entry into the building. Primarily I just want to make sure that, the guard is to make sure is, one, people coming into the building are one, you're actually supposed to be here and you're not an intruder and you don't carry anything that's not appropriate for the building that you're entering into. And that's primarily the thing. And when you actually now have all these security guards giving them more weapon, that now means there'll be more damages and a lot more haphazard use of weapons, especially when it comes to guns and everything. That's now you're overextending now the security aspect to where it's not supposed to be.
I think, Simon, what you're saying is very fundamental. But my problem with the issue is that it is government's duty to safeguard the country. It is government's duty to employ the police. You cannot have one policeman for per 10,000 people. What is the ratio today? So you cannot bridge that gap by deciding that now you will give guns to private security companies. That is the wrong way of looking at it. The government's duty is to protect our borders, number one, to safeguard our people, because they tax people. So the tax should go to pay the police. So this way, what they're doing with the security guards is just to, they've seen someone else is going to pay their people, and they're saying, okay, I can save my money and not pay these people, so let's give the guns to these other people. It's a way of escapism.
Yeah.
What we require from the government, because the police are uniformly trained, it is important to train your security officers in a certain way. They have the right to investigate. These people you are saying, the security guards who are going to arrest, they have no training on the law. There's training on the law, there's training on investigations, and there's training on how to handle such situations. The security guard's role has always been to stand in front of the building to guard from any threat. But there are so many other things which needs to be taken care of. And true, if you give the all security guards guns, if we have only the few policemen we have and they still lease out, some of them lease guns for robberies.
Of course.
Now, what is the entry level
For security guard.
for a security guard? What is the education level? There are some companies which have a certain level, which are the BMs, the Security Corps and all that, who have a track record of training and also giving jobs. But there are also security guards. People who wake up in the morning and form a security guard company in the village and give people uniform, zero training.
Yeah.
Your job is just to stand outside. And these are the people you want to give guns? These are the people you want to arrest people, to hand over to the police? Let's get serious in how we do things in this republic.
That's true.
How will you differentiate between the criminals now and the guards? Because like they're, you know very well, these are not registered policemen and they're hired every day and fired every day. Like if right now you come in my company, I have a security company, you're hired, you're fired. So how am I supposed to be keeping tabs or keeping tracks of this? Because we understand police, there is everything they go through, from training to getting hired to having the job and to know what they're doing. Already we are suffering from police brutality sometimes, we see on the news. Now we are going to have security guard brutality too. And how are we sure that they are going to protect us and not harm us? Because we know we left a security guard at the gate. So in case of anything, they'll call maybe the police or someone of a higher power to come and help us. So they are the ones to help us. You're supposed to know how to differentiate them from them and the criminals. Wow. That's a good one.
Anyway, I have a different, slightly different view, but I'm just going to plead ignorance. Me, I've not seen that gazettement. I have not. What I saw was gazetted was the 30,000 salary. Mm-hmm. And then I just thought, this is a lot. This is really a lot. If you're paying the policeman and the teacher 18,000 and now the security guard is going to be paid 30,000.
They'll have sirens.
But I don't know who and who. That is just, I was beginning to settle on that. So I thought we were actually discussing the 30,000.
But that's an interesting perspective. Yeah, that's an interesting perspective.
So they're going to get salary increment because they'll arrest people.
In fact, it is legal. There was an appeal. There was, I don't know what. So their salary, starting salary is 30,000. You cannot pay a security guard less than 30,000. I'm just thinking, wow, this is the beginning of. Anyway.
Cops will retire.
Now talking about cops, and. As someone who has, for the last, I don't know how many years, I've always had my home guarded with some of the major security companies. So this is what happens. So depending on where the alarm is coming from, so if it's a home situation, if it is coming, say, usually when you have the alarm, you can know where the alarm is pressing from. So if it is coming, like, say, from one of the bedrooms, so they'll try and call you. So if they call, maybe you pick the phone and you say it's okay. If you don't pick the phone, they will come with armed police. They always arrive with armed police. So I'm just thinking perhaps maybe the government has seen how their forces are always used. The government, okay, it's ours, are always used. Because when there's an alarm somewhere, they always come with the police and they're armed. Those cars, those alarm cars are always armed.
But it's
you guys know that.
It's because the company itself is so keen on what they're doing. Like, we are a company, we don't want to lose this job, so we are going to make it prompt.
Yes.
So now they work with the police, yes.
If they work with them, how are they managing it, and how? Perhaps maybe we need to hear more. But this thing, let me just say something.
But we also have
this
security, when we
guys,
have something.
This thing of security guys being armed always comes up roundabout near elections. Roundabout near elections.
But it's far.
2027
It's far
is
away.
very far.
You see,
But you know, the other thing is, you see, like these guards, the ones that guard, policemen, I always work with them. Like, for example, if I have an event, let me use, for example, you have a wedding and you need security, you can go to the police station and request to have security. So I think the security company works with them in that manner, whereby now, if in case of anything, we pay this amount, maybe to this station or to the government, for you to come and save us. But for them to now be made the security guards.
Yeah, I see the producer is really bad. You guys, I really thought we would talk about this 30,000 salary. Me, I'm really bothered.
you see, Dr. C, that 30,000 is for maybe the major security companies. If you are in Shamahoho and you have a security guard, would you afford to pay him 30,000?
Yeah, true.
You can't afford, and he can take you to court.
Yeah,
you know, it's like having, he can take you to court.
Yes.
Number one, you
I follow
employed
them
me
too.
and you are paying me below the recommended.
You see, it's
And
like,
you will be forced to pay by law.
but you see,
It doesn't matter where you are.
that one, when you dictate for an economy like ours, which is shrinking, it doesn't work. I think it is an ambitious way of looking at things, and it is good for people to get paid. But the way our economy is depressed, and in the regions where other people come from, 30,000, even a headmaster cannot afford to earn.
Not to pay anyone.
I know.
Well, go ahead, Dr. C.
Anyway, talking of security matters and matters, so in my village, I'm from Kakamega, by the way. I'm a village girl. of Senalwani.
Every day I see you must say
Senator,
that you are a village girl.
yes, because I think so that I got so much, the village gave me so much, made me who I am, that I'm so proud to have grown up in my village. Kakamega, Ikolomani, Ileho. So, the Kakamega Senator, Boni Khalwale, has come out really, really strong to deny that he had anything to do with the death of his long-term worker, Kizito Moi, who apparently was killed by Inacio. It's a bull called Inacio. From my village, animals are named. And so the debate, we are not obviously the jury here, but we need to talk about it.
You know,
Did he or did he not do it? And what are the issues that are coming up?
You know, one thing I've seen is that based on this story, it was one thing is that first of all, the bull was killed very fast, like immediately, and of course you back it up with what? Tradition. You know, in our tradition, immediately when a bull does this, we must do this. Yes, we must kill it, not slaughter. There's a difference, because when you slaughter it, you're actually now putting it out for people to eat and everything. So now you must kill it for it to be buried and everything. So you're killing the murderer. Now the main that's evidence you're killing. So now the whole idea, before even the DCI people even had come, and because there's even allegations that even that he could have been killed before even that scenario have happened. So first of all, that happened, and the family members were very upfront. I just noticed, like, you also have to notice some of these things. They're very upfront in saying that we just want a child's body back so we can actually bury him very fast. And plus, we are saddened by this. And they're not angry the fact that the incident happened. They're angry the fact that the body has been whatever. You notice how, because I try to take note of what is it that you're angry about. You're angry about that the body is not there with you, not that this incident actually happened. So some key things you also have to take note. And where were these parents stated? Here's Bonnie Khalwale right here speaking. Mother's right here. Siji uncle is somewhere over here. They are all around. So everybody is together. We are staging the same narrative so that this other narrative will die. So I'm just saying that because this other narrative is there, whether this happened or not, we don't know. But with this, well, that will actually be now uncovered. Very likely not, if that was the case, because coming up and getting evidence in case there was a murder incident that happened is now practically very hard to do, because the whole scene has totally been, ravished and even tampered with.
So I think Maria, you can go.
Okay, let me go, because I know Sylvia's perspective will be bigger. Okay, for me, I know this is culture, it happens, and for a family to have asked for the body, could it be that they know that accidents happen, like bulls can sometimes get to the point whereby someone dies on them? They could be knowing, they just want this to end, because if this guy has been working there for that long and he has been working with the bull, maybe they took it as an accident as it was. But now here's the point. Okay, I've been thinking so much about becoming pescatarian lately, so the way the cows are killed, like the way the cow is killed, makes me feel like, is there no way that they have a tradition whereby they can do it like softer, maybe nicer? I know it's an animal, yes, but can we have a way that, yes, it's traditions, but also have animal rights a little bit? Because I'm not the jury here to say that it could have happened before or later, but if the family is in support of that, maybe either they know what happened or they're okay with traditions do actually, at some point, turn into accidents, just like any other sport.
Well, CEO, you always give a very sober perspective.
On
so
tradition.
can I give my perspective? So I agree with you. Two things. As a vet, seeing in the vet forum what people are talking about, the main thing they're talking about, of course, there is a crime perspective. The fact that someone who is very educated, why would you interfere if a death has occurred? No interference until the authorities come to look at it. Number two, for me, yes, is
Animal rights.
The animal rights, the humane killing. But I would like to take this opportunity to just educate people a little bit about the bullfighting. Because a lot of the things I've seen, people are saying, oh, you have to ban bullfighting, you have to ban bullfighting. Bullfighting happens, of course, in Western Kenya, in the Spanish-speaking countries like Spain, or even Mexico, Portugal, they have it. And it's an art. It's a cultural something, it's an art. There's prescribed rules. There's rules of how it has to happen. Yeah? Even from those countries, there's rules. And there's what happens. Usually, of course, eventually, the bull normally gets killed. But there's a humane way of killing that bull. Now, as someone who has grown up in the village, and I've grown around bulls, yeah, I was telling, we were talking about earlier, we used to have this bull, his name was Maridadi. Maridadi would just leave the animal cage, and he would only listen to my sister. She was the only person who my sister would actually go even put the chain around the neck and just come, but everybody else, Maridadi, could just come with the horn and just carry you and throw you. Literally, like
You would die.
Yes, especially when he's hungry. So unless you've grown up around animals and you really understand, it's quite possible that a cow can actually kill you.
Yeah.
It's quite possible, especially if it has big horns. But there's a cultural way of dealing with it. Yeah. So for someone who is educated, I just think things went out of. Should we ban full bullfighting? I don't think so. We just need to keep the tradition and mind about the animal rights. The animal rights, yes, and cruelty. There should actually generally be no cruelty to the animals.
What do you have to say?
I think Dr. C, you captured it well. The bullfighting is among the Batsotso, Idaho, and the third
Isuha.
one, and the Isuha.
Yes.
There are only 3 Luya sub-tribes who do that bullfighting, and it's traditional. It has been there for many, many years. In the past, like 50 years, I think there are only 3 people who have been killed by the bulls. In 2 years ago, there's a woman who was knocked. It was an accident, that one. So these are the killings. Human and bulls killing is not a rampant.
Yeah, it's
We
not.
look at statistics. It doesn't happen all the time, because apart from this Kizito Amukune guy, Elias Moi, who was killed, the other incident happened maybe in 1997.
Wow.
And before
20
that,
years ago.
yeah,
More than
there's-
30 years ago.
There's no other
Yeah.
incident.
We should not
The-
ban it.
The other year, the only person who was killed is a woman, and it was during the bullfight. I think the
She was
bull
trampled.
stumbled on, and when the fight was too fierce. For me, I think bullfighting is necessary, is a big thing, is a cultural, and I support it 100%. My problem has been that the handling of this matter, of the death of this gentleman. There's a better way the good senator would have handled it. One, the scenes of crime is supposed to be safeguarded. And number 2, there was no need of washing the body, even if the guy was totally...
His body was washed.
Yes.
That is my problem.
Yes. The body was washed.
The issue which is arising is that the police came, but the body had been washed.
And it's not a cultural thing to wash the body.
That is a problem. You call the police to come and pick the body in the state it is in, so that there is no interference with the crime scene. The moment you wash the body, you've already interfered with the crime scene. And that's why DCI has to come in. Because now we have to ask, what is the motive of washing the body? Why did you wash the body before we came to the scene? Now, the report indicates that the guy had injuries, he had been caught by the animal. But also, remember, was he drunk? Was he brought there dead and he was God when he was already dead? These are the questions we want to ask. And then we'll ask ourselves, what the blood pattern? You know, when a man is bleeding,
Yeah.
if you are killed, and this is what we say in crime. If, for example, you look at the late Waeni, who was killed in Thika Road, you could see that the pathologist, Johansen Oduor, said that the lady must have been chopped into pieces after she had been strangled to death. Why? Because when the blood, someone is killed, when you try to hack someone when he's still alive, the blood circulation, it splatters everywhere and you bleed a lot. So we wanted to look at Kizito Mkune's pen and Inasio's pen to see if this guy the cow was killed him when he was still alive, the blood would tell us more. If he was already dead and the cow actually, the bull pierced him, the blood would not have actually been a lot in the pen. So that's what we look at. But I would say that it is still suspicious that no one had this man coming in. We come from, villages. When you walk in, drunk people will always make noise. If he's drunk and he'll talk. We know how we operate. In the village, there's always a rowdy or a mongrel who will bark. Yes. It's not a city center. The villagers keep a very communal way of life. That's why we have to investigate this killing or murder.
That's true.
Nasir.
Looks very fishy. Yes, indeed. But because on that fishy note, we'll be right back. Keep it right here on Lonely. Let's be real. We'll be back.
Superstay Vinyl Ink from Maybelline, New York. Shake up your long wear with no budge vinyl color. Color lock formula. up to 16-hour wear. New Superstay Vinyl Ink, Maybelline, New York.
Welcome back. Of course, in the first part of this episode, we had interesting discussions, of course, about Inacio, that bull.
Ignacio.
Inacio. Luyas and naming of their animals. Anyway, welcome back. Simon, take it off.
Yes, indeed. One thing we're taking off because, hey, you know what's been taken off your paycheck? Housing levy. Why? That is the truth. Hey, yeah, we have totally seen how the president has gone around saying that indeed we're creating jobs through what? Removing money from your pocket to build houses for someone else who you may not know who it is because they may not be valid for you. And that's actually something that has actually got a lot of Kenyans very angry. And the thing about the housing levy is this. This housing discussion has not just started right now. 4 years ago, even this housing discussion, the 1.5 that was going to be deducted from your paycheck was started being by the previous regime. There was phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. There were several phases about this thing. Now what happened is that right now it's escalating. Now it's a part of, now this administration is now escalating it to the point of now implementing. Now when they were implementing, some people were saying, you're taking away from my paycheck. Who are these people? TSC members. The Quebec guys coming out and saying that they want their deductions, they want deductions back last month, January. Yes, we're in the month of February, the month of love. Now they want the month of January, their deductions, they want them reimbursed because the High Court has actually said that this particular, the process that this housing levy was actually instigated and put into action was not properly done by the law. So having heard all these processes, that the president is out here trying to do the best for you guys. He wishes you the best. Do you believe that this housing levy is really good for you?
First of all, there are people in my village who will never ever get this housing levy thing. But here is my worry. I've seen the way some land is being annexed to build. I think this may just be the beginning. All of you soon, you shall all lose your farms, perhaps. All of you told to go and bundle up in some apartments because the land needs to be freed for agriculture. This might just be the beginning of things to come. I'm not even worried about the housing levy. Housing levy, of course, is the immediate. Which I think so that in itself is not a bad thing, but forcing people, I think it is the bad thing. Because there are people who will not get it. But I'm worried about when they now come and say, now give us all the titles, wote mtoke kwa mashamba, muende huko hizo manyumba, those one-bedroom houses that have been built, leave your farms because Kenya is food insecure.
Hey,
wow.
That's the interesting.
It's just the beginning.
I've never thought of it that way. Actually,
if it
I've never
succeeds,
thought of it that way.
that's where we are going.
Because for me, I felt like it's the worst time to be employed in this country now because that paycheck is not even getting to your pockets anymore. And you can't even start a business because business are closing every day. And now, to top it up, you are like told housing levy. And I'm so sure, like, there are people who are already struggling, already salaries are so low. For those in Kupet to have come and say that we need our money back, believe you me, their salaries are not something that you could be telling them now you're paying house levy on top of taxes and SEF and HIF and every other deduction that they're getting in their salaries. Now it's like we're operating on negative. Yeah, as soon as we do that and we pay tithe, we're done. I also feel like the court saying that it was not done the right way. I wish they would have said it was not done the right way and continue to say that they should be reimbursed. And that's where they're fighting. Because, the court did not say they reimbursed them. No, they're fighting because of that.
When has the government ever reimbursed?
They've already taken.
Said
it's unconstitutional. Yeah. Now the money is already gone. Because those who gave the money in January, it's not small money. Because if everyone got their paycheck with less that, it means a lot of money was collected. Are we ever going to know where it went to? No, because we have potholes in roads now. You're good. So see you.
I'm so indifferent to this housing levy thing because one, there are too many questions which still remain unanswered. The first thing is that in the previous regime, and I think, Simon, people get it wrong here, Uhuru Kenyatta's regime started building these buildings, these houses, without taxing us a special tax. And the buildings are there. If you go to Pangani, these buildings, the project started without a tax being put in place. Why? Because they said there's a certain amount of money which the government should have set aside and built the houses instead of taxing only the salaried people. My problem with the William Samoei Ruto's regime is that they are taxing people a high amount of money. The land they are building on these buildings is government land, which is free. And if you look at the cost of that building vis-a-vis the houses which are being built by the private companies, the private companies, like for example, Bomayangu, the private companies are cheaper. You get land for free. You build for Kenyans houses from their taxes, yet your houses are more expensive than the private developers. And is a fact.
And the size is not pleasing.
What do you think is really going on? Because there's now, like, why the purpose of, the issue is this, the insistence.
Now, I'm coming there.
Yeah.
My issue is then, and then let's go to who is building these houses.
Who is building them actually?
We do not know who is a supplier of the material. Government cannot supply that material. There is someone somewhere who is supplying the material, supplying the cement, supplying the steel. And your guess is as good as mine. The person who is insisting must be the supplier of all these things.
Clothing it in, we're providing employment, but you cannot see.
So my argument is that you cannot be doing all this work for only a fraction of people. And you cannot only be doing all this, insisting on this thing, which Kenyans have said, we do not need it. Many people who are being taxed have their own homes.
Yeah.
And they're telling us that the other people who are not being taxed, they can't afford even to live in those houses. You put the prices higher for them. And the previous government, anyway, had a cap on taxation and deduction of money, which would have gone to that. This one is a moving target. The next time you decide it's 2.7, it's 1.5, it does not work that way. So the government is doing a fishing expedition, and someone is going to benefit. And that's the problem of a country running on one brilliant idea.
But that's why.
Is it really brilliant?
It was it's actually part of the Vision 2030 stuff.
No, but the problem is someone is forcing everyone who is on paycheck to do business with them. Like now, buy materials for me to build houses for something.
We are not doing business. Business, there's an offer, it's accepted.
Yes.
This one we are being forced, bulldozed into giving money.
Stealing. Completely stealing. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
I think the government, whoever they are, they have given so much, like, business, we don't talk about anything else. If you see 3-4 Kenyans sitting somewhere, they are probably talking about housing levy, they're talking about unemployment or the economy or something like that. Now, the other day, CS Kuria, and he was, for once I really agreed with him that we have to do something about the unemployment. And I don't know what is this we need to do, even me as an employer, as a business person. 58,000 people turned up for a job where they only needed 8,000 people.
This is common.
Yeah? Yes, it's a common occurrence. And I'm just like, we have reached a very, very dangerous space in Kenya, where even the job you're getting anyway, not only are there no jobs, there's also this problem of salaries.
Yeah.
And then being an entrepreneur in this country is like, you're hunted. I know we've talked about someone who is salaried. Now, the golden goose that is laying the egg, aka the entrepreneur, is like not. It's an endangered species. It's a talent. It takes special talent to be a business person in this
country.
city.
Yeah.
So the number of businesses closing today, both multinationals, both the ones that are leaving the country, even the smaller businesses, what shall we do? What? I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
But solving the unemployment issue is going to be hard now, because you see, if we are closing our businesses as entrepreneurs, so we are firing people automatically, and it's not our will. You know, if it was a will, like we are firing you because of all these other reasons, that's something else. But in these cases, I'm letting you go because I cannot do it anymore also. And the governments do not have all those jobs. Remember, empowering the businesses is the best way to give people jobs. By the empowering entrepreneurs is the only way you can solve so many problems in your country, because you know very well that if these entrepreneurs hire these people, then unemployment reduces. Right now, it's going to be on the rise because people are not stopping to close. Like right now, everywhere you walk, buildings, especially people who have buildings that they used to have business owners getting of spaces, they're closed. Now you have so many vacancies. By the way, if you're looking for an office, you'll find easily. Because we are closing businesses every day. And if I had 3 employees, then I'm laying them off. Because first of all, I'm becoming unemployed myself. So there's no way I can help. And by the virtue that they are digging deep into our pockets with tax and everything increased in prices, so I have to shorten the employees I have for me to be able to afford my business. If at all, I will keep it. Now go to the government. How will they give us all those jobs if we are not even surviving in the first place? And if they give us the paychecks, they're going to come for 3/4 of them. Wow.
You know,
Governments are very silent. We are silent celebrities, now they're loud celebrities.
you know something very interesting? Because even we mentioned about, it's easy to speak very doom and gloom about this topic. That's common. But there was, David, he's, what's his title, by the way?
Prime Cabinet Secretary.
Okay, yes. All of them have so many titles. So even he came out recently saying that they have a big announcement. Like now, the economy is soon going to take a turn for the better Kenyans. That there's hope for us in the future. And that things are going to take a good turn for you. The thing, especially when it comes to employment, is this. Even when it comes to a lot of entrepreneurs, is with this, when there's a downturn in the economics, literally you have to adjust. Whether you like it or not. Mm-hmm. All right? Whether you like it or not, you have to adjust. Where there's a diminish in one sector, there's an increment in another sector. One increment that's going on right now is the travel sector. Why? Because there's a lot of export of Kenyans who want to get up and out of Kenya. All right? Because they know very well Kenya is. So the business part is that those people who are the agents and everything, because a lot of Kenyans know very well this place is not a place I can flourish in. So literally, when it comes to even there's a downside of, like, because I also want to speak on the positive side of things. When there's a downside in one sector, do not always dwell on that downside. That means it's an upside on the other side, and there's a heavy need, especially now, government employees, what are they doing? When there's a heavy need for passports, you have to pay for you to get your extra passport, even to skip that long line. Have you also seen the same thing, CEO?
I think, you see, the problem is that, and this unemployment is not the only problem we have. And I know that Kenyans are unemployed. It's a problem because we have the youngest generation in East Africa, Kenya and Tanzania, I think under 30, around 80% now. But my problem is when the government repeatedly say that na watafutia kazi nje. I've looked at the statement and I've looked at the jobs which are available out there, which our good president has always been saying. For example, Germany. Our skill sets do not match the skill sets required by the Germans who need that population of employees to move. So what are we talking about? We are saying that I've organized for you to apply for these jobs internationally. Yes, you can go look for your passport, well and good. But your skill sets cannot commensurate what the other country requires. So what are we exporting as workforce? We are exporting house helps. or house managers. We are exporting a lot of security people. We are not exporting nurses to a certain extent. We are not exporting the first world, the jobs they are offering. Our talents cannot meet. So it is very good when the president is on top of the car and saying, I've gone to Germany and I've ordered, and they've told me they need 50,000 people. It is not now you guys, you can apply. Ask yourself, do Kenyans have that skill set the Germans require? No, we don't. And most of these countries is going around talking about, have definitely said that the people they require, our skill sets do not meet. So we are lying to the people. Instead of following the manifesto, Kenya Kwanza manifesto, they said, we will create 100 or 1 million jobs. That's what we hold them accountable to. And anyway, a government's duty is to give an environment for businesses to thrive, for them to employ people.
Don't they undergo training? There's no training that's being undergone, even like a subliminal training that's in between. Because I know some of these agencies,
yes,
there are sometimes even before even you go, let's say for even let's say even the house jobs and everything, there's a subliminal training that you go understand the language, understand, you know. Which
is fine. But remember, the world today, most of the things are done by either robots, AI, and all this. Yeah. So there's a lot of IT world. Yeah. You cannot get a graduate who has seen a computer once or twice in his village and take him to Germany to go and control a whole, everything is a system.
Yes, but you know, here's the thing. Even here's the thing, because I think there's some logic even reaching agreements. Before even the president wakes up and goes to Germany, and someone welcomes him in Germany. This is a company that has several that has seen a need. We need, because even when it comes to first world countries, what they're looking to is let's get a little bit cheaper labor from Kenya, which which would now help us keep our systems running. Now here's the thing, before even we sit down with the president, because we're not sitting down with someone else, we're sitting down with the president of our nation, we must also know what are the prerequisites for this person before they're inducted within the specific roles that they're supposed to play within our ecosystem and our work. Because even induction even here within Standard, there's an induction process. You're not just thrown in like in here.
Steve,
I want to say something.
Before you are thinking very professionally. Do you think a politician and politics is like that?
No, it's not like that.
Okay.
See, I want to say something. The reality, yes, is that there's unemployment, and we need to look at the solutions.
Yes.
And what are some of the solutions? The thing is, in the West, especially Europe, some countries, their population is in the minus.
Yes, that's true.
So there's been what we've been calling the immigration that is illegal. So people go, they die in the seas trying to get to Europe, and but these jobs are always there. So one of the things I'm happy that is our president is actually going and getting those jobs, and in a formal way Kenyans can go. Because Kenyans, number one, are not willing to risk their lives in the high seas, to die in the high seas to get the jobs. And therefore, we were just not going. And if we are going to get like 50,000 jobs, so let it be, even in that segment, at least it will help a little bit. I know we are millions of Kenyans, but there is a deficit in certain things, like the jobs they don't want to do. Like now in Britain, all the Eastern Europeans who used to pick the strawberries, who used to pick the farms, they have a problem.
Yes.
And those vacancies are there. And that has opened up a space for Kenyans to go. So if our president will get it, let it be. We just need solutions.
One thing that I'll tell a Kenyan out there, it's along the line of my specialty. One, do this. There are openings out there for jobs, but there are also many openings out there you can actually do remote work, in the sense that they're actually looking for Kenyans remotely and everything. Digital. Please, at the same time, you can learn your skills without waiting for the government. Don't you dare sit your thinking that the government is going to save you. Kijana, you will suffer. 2024 will be like 2023. Are you serious? This is new year, new you. Abu, be serious with your life. Hey, don't and actually be serious about how can I get a salary that's from Germany and still live within Kenya, and that's how you can flourish as an individual.
Yeah.
Don't you dare wait for the government. The government will make you waiting, and even as you heard him from CEO, where? This is politics. But Maria, but tell us the next topic.
So we are not waiting for the government, but citizens have raised their concerns about these people, these foreign people, especially Nigerians, who come and kill our own. Like the incident that happened, like you see there's these people who wash cars and then you take your carpet, they wash for you. I'm one of those people who used to love my carpet going to the car wash and then they bring it home. People actually do that and that's a job. And no, they come, so they took a carpet to a Nigerian home and then it fell from 5th floor to down. The police claim that the balcony has rails that it's very difficult for someone to fall from there after the investigation. So it means this is someone that was thrown down. But let's face it, are these Nigerians, all of them here legally, first of all? That is the first thing we can ask ourselves. And then number two, we would like to see the law taken against them and how they do it, because I feel like they are so empowered to a point that they can do such a thing, because it looks so fearless for you to throw someone from the 5th floor to down there, inhumane. Okay, I don't even have words to describe that. And in most cases that you hear, it's Nigerian people killing people. And sometimes you ask yourself, okay, I'm not a big fan of Nigerian movies, but I always tell myself those are not real. But if they do such things, now I'm beginning to feel like, are they real? Because that is not a normal human being thing to do.
What do you think?
What I think? Me, first of all, I don't even care. Like, me, when I hear you have a Nigerian accent, number one, you talk to me when you're 3 meters away. 3 meters. Don't even. By the way, Nigerian. 3 meters away from me.
Why?
You can't. I don't know what they can spray in my face, whatever. I just.
So you believe that
I
it's true?
fear those people. And number two, look at this.
Looks like it's a script.
This is Africa's most populous country. 300 million of them. By the time you even get out of that country, and the ones who come here, there are some very educated, very proud African statesmen and women from Nigeria that I really admire. But a lot of them who get here, they scam people internationally. Everybody knows internationally. In fact, me when I'm traveling, when I'm behind anyone with that Nigerian passport, hey, I'd rather go and start again. Because let me tell you, they'll just think you're like that Nigerian. They look at your unasumbuliwa.
I know.
Just traveling. If you're behind any Nigerian, it's like, passport, is it green?
Green, yeah.
Ebu, run away. Just go away. So you know, when they are here, I think they are used to, you know, sometimes we have to agree as Kenyans. We've lived a very soft life compared to a lot of other countries, and we are not even aware. So when they come here, they can sometimes infiltrate our law enforcement sometimes. We know there's corruption, there's all these things, so they become emboldened. So they are very familiar. They are familiar. They know what to do. And then there's this fake admiration by some young Kenyans for Nigerian. They're just, a Nigerian man, you. Even we are even renewing their accent.
Oh no.
See, because of the Nigerian movies.
Run away from these people.
No, you know, Nigerian movies have shown us that they have big mansions there and cars and all that.
Oh, no. Let me just, I've been to Nigeria.
That's what they're showing us. So Kenyans are like, oh, wow. So
have you been to Nigeria?
Several.
Yeah.
I have been to Nigeria, and let me tell you, I just always, when I get back to Kenya Airways, I really say we really, truly are the pride of Africa.
Why?
Really, really, truly. We may have our problems here at home. Do you know, for the longest time in Nigeria, the government, you know, the way we are paying tax, and we have this agreement with the government. The government, you do this, and in return, we pay the tax. In Nigeria, the government was used to getting the oil money. So they were like, we close both eyes, do with whatever you want to do with your money. But you know what? Just know that we will not build roads. We shall not even have a national grid. We will not even build. No one is asking you for tax.
How are they surviving?
It's a wild. It's wild. It's a wild west.
It's looking awful.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess
so me, mambo ya Nigeria, hata same.
Run
away from those.
You know that song in Nigerian movies But it's wild because for me, I have nothing like literally my experiences with Nigeria. My Nigerian brothers, I'm very chill with them because I have no issues. I will speak from the other side is I think that even their attributes that even we Kenyans can even take from them, even their audacity, their ability to even take steps forward, even to take risks. First of all, the audacity to come to a foreign place. Imagine the audacity of a Kenyan leaving Kenya and behaving the way the Nigerians behave here. You see, that requires a different level of even self-belief, even self-understanding.
It's not audacity.
What is it? What do you call it?
criminals.
What do you call it?
They're just criminals.
It's crime.
Listen,
No, so even if there's audacity that comes even with scamming.
You see,
Yes.
you know, and I love Nigerians for who they are, but my problem with Nigerians is the way they travel to different countries and impose the elements, the bad elements which they take to those countries. If there are very many Kenyans who live out of Kenya, there are many. There are Kenyans in Tanzania, there are Kenyans in Uganda, there are Kenyans in Rwanda,
Even Nigeria.
there are Kenyans everywhere.
Yes.
But what would you say is the attribute of a Kenyan wherever they go?
Hard work.
It's hard work. Is that is a professional? Is that he means business and he does business? Isn't it? Now, flip it. A Nigerian in Hillsborough in South Africa is the same as a Nigerian in TRM in Kenya,
For example.
in Roysambu. What is it that these two people have in common? That it can't be that, and I know very good professional Nigerians, but a majority of the guys who live, 10 of them in a room, they think in the morning they want to scam Kenyan girls or they want to scam Kenyan women, and that becomes a job. When a Kenyan goes out there, they know they're going to look for a decent job or something to work on. There are so many Rwandese in Kenya.
Yes.
There are so many Burundians who are selling us shoes in Kenya. There are so many Congolese, and there's a half population of Somalia and Ethiopians in Kenya. Why don't we have a problem with the Rwandese, with the Congolese, with the Burundians who sell shoes and who are in the salons? Why don't we have problem with Tanzanians who are in Gikomba? It's because there's an order of how things are done. So the Nigerians should have a retrospect and look inside themselves and introspection and say, why are we this way? Why is it that when you go to Roysambu, there's a woman who's killed, we are linked. There's some drugs somewhere, we are linked. When we travel, there's something and there's a scamming coming out. It is that Nigeria produces brilliant people, but the bad apples are the ones who give them the bad name internationally. If you go inside there are some decent human beings in Nigeria. And I've been to Lagos, I've been to Cross River State, that is in Tinapa, Calabar. I've been in all those places, and I have very many Nigerian friends. And in the media industry, who are strict professionals doing their job right, but they also tell you that they're tired of the elements of Nigerian descent, whose job is to scam, to kill, and to maim other people wherever they go.
Yeah, that gives a bad reputation
Yes.
in their thing.
Yeah.
But even just on a devil's advocate thing, each one of these things requires a certain skill set. Even if it's scamming, it requires a certain skill set, because that means they're very good at marketing something that you would actually even want. Even going back to the ladies. Going back to the ladies.
Even I got hacked, you remember?
Yes.
Instagram
By the way,
account.
yes. Even we solved that issue. Then
Yes,
God,
I
it
know.
was a headache.
It was a Nigerian.
Oh, no.
Yes,
My
hackers.
Instagram account got hacked
Yes.
last year, and I was in a very remote island in Europe at that time.
Yeah.
And it took, they scammed people through my Instagram
Yeah.
account.
Yeah.
By the time I got hold of it,
We had gone through a lot. We had gone through a lot, but we are on to you. We are on to you very well. And you know that we're in Kenya. We are Kenyans.
So we welcome visitors. Kenya is the epitome of Africa. People can come live with us. It's beautiful. And we want our neighbors to come and taste of our good country. But please, keep it within the legal means.
Yes.
Do not kill, do not maim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think it has been great to see you guys.
Cheers. Yes, it's been a very interesting.
Cheers to the. Let me reintroduce myself.
This is 2024,
Yeah.
and we've just come back on the month of love. Wow,
Yeah.
that's nice.
And you're wearing red.
Oh,
You and Cyborg.
What season?
Did I miss the memo? Even you have some elements
Next week,
of red.
next week.
Yeah.
Me, I'm just
Next
in my
week, come with
sober.
red. Next week. You're celebrating.
Next week
it's been
actually is
amazing,
Valentine.
actually.
So
Next
can
week
you
is
bring,
Valentine.
and for our viewers out there, next week, watch the greatest show will be here next
Yes.
week for you and your loved ones.
And stand a chance to win a Samantha wine.
Oh.
Yes.
Wine with your loved ones.
Yes, love is wine.
So it has been a wonderful day, of course, evening today. Keep watching this. Let's Be Real. Maria, say something as we close.
I'm loving the show. I'm loving the set, and I'm glad that we are back on this year, 2024. This year, I've told myself, is the year that I'm going to be more grateful, the year of gratitude, because let me tell you, no matter how many challenges you are going through, there is hope. And whatever you are going through right now, there is always going to be light at the end of the tunnel. So just keep hope, enjoy your life, and most importantly, love the ones in your life so much that they will never forget how much you love them.
Even if you're single.
You have your
And Dr.
siblings
C-
and friends, and
And,
me.
Dr. C, the matchmaker here, the winemaker. So first of all, I would like to toast to the aspirations of all Kenyans. I know things may be hard right now, and it looks like it's really hard. Your aspirations are valid. They are valid, and one day it's going to happen. And I also want to toast to you villagers. I was in the village and I was shocked. You know, not really. I know you watch
Your
the
village
show.
is where Ignacio comes from.
Where Ignacio comes from.
Yes.
Yes. And they were like, oh, we watch you, we watch you. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Keep it here. Next week, Samantha Wines. You know, we are all about life. We are all about helping you celebrate life's greatest moments, and Valentine is.
Oh, wow. And for me, I just say shout out to all you guys who are single. Yes, we see you. We'll pray for you next week.
There's a matchmaker here.
There's a matchmaker here. You're not single.